actually incorporate some tempo into your training, and then you'll know if you're actually challenging the muscle. And that's our goal, right? Our goal isn't to go around and throw around heavy duty weights. Our goal is to challenge muscle. And it all goes back to the most important fundamental piece of all of this from a building muscle standpoint is execution. Form and execution is right up there of oxygen. Buongiorno, how you doing? Welcome back, another video. We are at Walmart. Jasmine's in Walmart, I'm in the car, and I thought I'd kill two birds with one stone and do a quick video. Anyway, good question came through, and I thought, you know what, this needs to be addressed on YouTube. Question was, is tempo really beneficial? Is tempo really going to help me build muscle? Is tempo going to help you build muscle? It's a great question. So here we are. Let's see if I can give this some justice. So, tempo training was I first knew about tempo training way back in the 90s, probably around like 95, 96. And it was given to me by Mr. Mike Mentzer, high intensity practitioner from Arthur Jones, right? Arthur Jones was the first gentleman, then it was passed on to the late great Mike Mentzer, and then Dorian Yates took it on and did his spin on it. And then obviously people like John Hodson, myself, we all were high intensity practitioners. So anyway, I watched this particular video by Mike Mentzer, and it was on a VHS video. I had a lot of his videos on VHS. That proves how old I am, first of all. But anyway, on this particular video, he had a client in the gym and he was doing a 4040 tempo. What does that look like and what does it mean? So basically, his eccentric lowering phase was done under 4 seconds of tension, and then concentrically, it was done 4 seconds. So basically 8 seconds a rep with 315 on a deadlift. That is hard to do. If you ever tried it on actually another one he did too, just came on the screen in my mind. He was in the gym in California working with a client, and we're talking again, this is back in the 90s, and he was doing a 404 on the barbell curl with back support against the wall so he couldn't hyperextend and cheat. Great idea, by the way, if you're doing bicep curls with barbell, is to use a back support. Anyway, just a little digression there. But the point is that that's when I first knew about it. A lot of people talk about Charles Poliquin brought it. Charles Poliquin, respect the man, great coach, one of the best ever. The late great Charles Poliquin really talks about the benefits of doing tempo training. So I learned it from Mike Mentzer. So anyway, I really believe it's a tool, first of all. But I also believe if you're a coach and a trainer, it's actually a good idea to count tempo with your clients, especially if they're doing hypertrophy. And by the way, my seat here, I got the heat on the seat and my backside is burning. It's quite cold here in Ontario. Anyway, so yeah, it's a tool. If you're a coach and a trainer, it's a really good idea to count tempo with your clients because it tells them that you are invested, you are paying attention. Because a lot of trainers, you've probably seen them at the gyms, they are sitting down, maybe eating between sets like some people do because they're trying to smash a meal, or they look at the clock, they clock watch, right? So it's a tool, first of all. Is it the be all end of? Can you still get results without tempo training? Absolutely. Here's my point. If you're training in the gym and your goal is hypertrophy, to build muscle, you don't want the weights eccentrically to be falling, right? That means the muscle's passive. What we want is the muscle to be continually active. And a great way to do that is to incorporate tempo training. Now, let me switch gears for a moment. So, a lot of people use tempo with very light loads. Do I think that's beneficial from a hypertrophy standpoint? Maybe, maybe not. But my point is, let's say that you are doing a squat with, I don't know, whatever your last set is. Let's say it's 315. You got good form, good repetitions, and you can get to 12 repetitions with 315 as an example. You know, you're going, way past, going below parallel. You're pretty stable. So my advice to you is that this is where you can incorporate tempo. What you would do in this situation is say, use that same 315 that you would do for 12 reps. Let's say your positive failure rep is on that 12th rep. do a tempo on it, maybe do a 4 seconds eccentric with a 1 second pause in the bottom. Now you're doing like 6 seconds of repetition. It's going to be a lot more demanding, right? So what's the primary objective is to build muscle, right? Cause that stimulus. More importantly, do it on the last set. So that would be something that I encourage you to do. Don't do it with lighter loads. 5, 4, 3, 2, I got it. 6, resist, 5, 4, and 3, and 2, and 1, and... Dumbbell bench press as an example. You're lowering the weight down, and you got decent control, and you fail, let's say, 10 reps. So what you could do there, instead of using your normal tempo, which could be, I don't know, 1 second down, 1 second up as an example, that's pretty standard for most people, or 2 seconds down, 1 second up. Use a 4 second eccentric on it and maybe a 3 second concentric on it. These things will be really beneficial for you to do. It will take your training to a whole new level. And then if that becomes a habit for you, then you can implement this all the time. It becomes a new way, the way of you training, because you've hardwired that particular tempo into your nervous system. If you're using light weights and you're doing tempo training, then I kind of think that's a little bit sort of counterproductive. It's not a good idea. I would use it with loads that you normally would challenge yourself with. For example, if you're doing, a bent over row as an example, and your max weight is maybe 275, and you feel as though you got decent reps with that, why not pause in the stretch position for 2 seconds and then come up for 1 second, hold that contraction for 1 or 2 seconds, and then lower it down under 3 and then pause in that bottom position for 2. Do you see how hard you can put tension and put more stress on the muscles from a hypertrophy standpoint? It's a good idea. So I believe it's a tool. The point is that you don't want the muscles to be passive. You want the muscles to be continually active. You don't want that weight to fall down. Like an example, when people do a barbell squat, you see them at the gym. There's no eccentric loading. They're just falling down. They're getting a bounce from the bottom, and then they come up. And they're using heavy weight and they're thinking that that's going to build tissue. If they're a genetic freak, maybe. But if for everybody else that really has to pay their dues in terms of building muscle, you're not a genetic freak, then we may have to implement tempo training in there. We may have to really understand that it's a good idea to use maybe a 3 second eccentric, a 4 second eccentric with a pause in the bottom position. So if that is you, if you're allowing that weight on your back to fall, and if you're falling down and you're getting that bounce from the bottom position, it might be a good idea to pause for 1 or 2 seconds in that bottom position where the muscle's being lengthened. So I hope that you see that it could be a powerful tool for you to use. If you have decent form and you have the muscle continually active, then you might not need to do tempo training. See, I use tempo training with clients, especially from a hypertrophy standpoint, if they got shitty form, excuse my language, or their eccentric lowering is really poor, and they're using momentum. And we've got to remember, momentum is a negative force. It doesn't serve you, and it's not going to help you build muscle long term. So in order to get that stimulus, we do have to create tension. And I think a great way to create tension is to use tempo training. So I've kind of gone around it and danced around the answer there. Do I believe it works? Yes. Do I believe it's the be all end all? No. Can you still get results without doing tempo? Absolutely. But the bottom line is you have to have control. You have to have the muscle continually active. You don't want the weights to be falling. You don't want the muscles to become passive. If you see it time and time again, when you see guys in the gym and they're doing a barbell curl as an example, they're letting the weights fall and they're using momentum to pull the weight up. It might be a good idea, as I mentioned in the beginning, to do that particular exercise up against the wall and maybe use some tempo on that. Maybe use Mike Mentz's theory, 4 seconds up, 4 seconds down with the same weight. This is the thing now. Now we're starting to talk about something different. So if you're using, let's say, 135 for a barbell curl as an example, and you can't control that weight, if you can't do a 404 tempo on it, 4 seconds down, 4 seconds up, which is 8 seconds a rep, is the weight too heavy? Who knows? It all goes back to, can you control the weight? It might not be under 4 seconds. It might just be 2 seconds. It could be 2 seconds down, 2 seconds up. But the point is, and the bottom line here is that you need the muscle to be continually active. You don't want the weights to be falling. You don't want the weights to be passive. That's my take on tempo. It's a great idea if you're a coach and a trainer to use it, because it tells the client that you're engaged and you're paying attention, which is what they're paying for, right? And this is why I use it. Every client I work with, I am in the zone, I'm focused on them, and I'm counting reps with my fingers. So 2 more, last 3. 1, go. Squeeze, good. 1, 2 more. 1, 2, 3. Elbow drive. Last one. 1, 2, 3. Hold. Go on, you're still strong. 2 more. 2 more. Stretch, lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Go. Hold. If they're doing, I don't know, a skull crusher as an example for triceps in a neutral grip with dumbbells, I don't like using the EZ bar or the straight bar, because it causes stability issues of the scapula, and it forces people, especially men, and the men I work with have got a lot of wear and tear. So I find them being in this sort of pronated grip position. As they lower it down, there's a lot of stress on the elbow, and their elbow flares out and they can't get that position right. So it's a good idea to actually use dumbbells, stay in that neutral position. Try tempo training, give it a go, see if it works for you. Use the loads though that you normally challenge yourself with, and try and do a tempo with it. It will be very humbling, and then you'll know, am I actually going in the gym and using too much weight? It's actually a good idea, right? Are you going in the gym and you always focus on heavy loads? You know, there's a time and place to go heavy. But one thing I've learned from my 30 years of doing this is I make lightweights feel heavy now. I think the days of lifting 600 pound, 700 pound deadlifts are gone now. So I would rather use 225 and do a Mike Mensa technique on it. Do a 4-0-4-0 tempo, 4 seconds up, 4 seconds down. Do a barbell curl with 4 seconds down, 4 seconds up. It's a good idea. Like, subscribe. See you on the next video. Take care. Cheerio. Peace out. Subscribe. Hit the like. Comment below. I'm going to go back into Walmart here and go and meet Jasmine. Hopefully she's got all the shopping done. Take care. So I hope this video has helped. If it has helped, hit me up. Send a comment. Like the video. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. It will be much appreciated. Any feedback is welcome, positive or negative. I will not be upset. I'm a big boy. I can handle it. I wish you a great rest of your day.